It's just a couple of days after the WWDC announcements and Apple's artificial intelligence announcements, where they absolutely ate with their presentation. The stock is up higher than ever. But what is next? In the next couple of months, we're going to see the next iterations of the iPhones. And in this video, we're going to talk about everything we know and also go hands-on with what possibly is going to be the next possible designs of the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pro. Let's quickly get started. Let's start off with the iPhone 16. In terms of overall design, we are only seeing one major difference, which is the camera layout. Now, this goes back to some of the camera designs that Apple has used in the past, especially if you look at the XS series and you can see the vertical camera layout. Now, this will obviously help with capturing spatial video, which is required for Apple's Vision Pro headset. So if you own an iPhone 16, you will be able to capture that video. We are also possibly going to see trickle down of some interesting cameras from the Pro series to this, which will help in this giant camera lens setup that we have over here. You also see that the LED flash sits outside the camera sort of housing. And instead of having that glass go all the way in a square fashion, which we saw with the 11 and the 12, what we are seeing here is independent cameras and LED flash sitting in the back panel. We're also seeing a textured design of the back panel, which is similar to what we saw with the 15 Pro series. So we might see that in the iPhone 16. So very similar in terms of design, both the 16 and the 16 Pro. Now what we have over here is also the new color. Now this is the pink color, which will be replacing possibly the yellow color, and it looks pretty nice. And alongside, you will also typically get the standard black, which will be the most color dense color of the iPhone. Now, of course, this is the 16 Plus, so it's a much larger device as it is. Another big thing we'll see is that the 16 series will now get the action button, which sits above the volume buttons, and the SIM tray will possibly sit on the left. There's also conversations about a capture button, which will sit over here, and that will be designed for camera capture. This doesn't seem to be the most ideal location for this, and it may or may not happen, but it appears to be here in this design. So it might as well be what we will see. And that will also be available on the larger 6.7 Plus. Now, while the screen sizes for both these phones, the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, will be the same as last year, a 6.1 inch and a 6.7 inch, we will see different sizes in the Pros, and we'll talk about those in just a second. So if you look at this in comparison to the existing iPhone 15, you'll see that we have a slight difference in the color tint, and this one has a more purple hue to it. I actually prefer this color to the original existing color. We'll have to wait and see what finally comes out. We're expecting about 5 or 6 colors in the iPhone 16 and about 4 colors in the iPhone 16 Pro series. Specs wise, this phone is expected to get the A17 Pro, which is the current chip in the 15 Pro and the Pro Max. It might be rebranded to A18 for the 16 series phones, and then the Pro versions will get an A18 Pro. We might also see improvements in terms of cameras and overall improvements in terms of the RAM and battery size in the 16 series, but all of that will be because of the new AI features which were already revealed for iOS 18. One thing that is not changing is the refresh rate, or at least it's rumored to not change. This will still continue to get a 60 Hz refresh rate display. So will the Plus phone, and that is a little bit of a letdown. I hope it goes up to 90 Hz or even 120 Hz. Now let's move on to the big boys in the house. These are the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Now you can see we have them available in 2 colors. One is a black and one is a white. There'll also be a natural color and a possible blue or green or even a new pink that we're expecting this time around. So there'll be 4 colors in all. Natural, white and black will remain constant, and then we'll see a 4th color. So what we are seeing is that the camera layout is similar, but we do have thicker metallic rings, and we are expecting a newer camera from the 15 Pro into the 16 Pro. So we are expecting the ultra wide camera to also be upgraded to a 48 megapixel camera. For both the Pro Max and the 16 Pro, we'll see a new upgraded ultra wide 48 megapixel camera. Now, external design wise, we can still see that there is an action button, the volume buttons, and of course the SIM tray over here. And of course, on the other side, we see the capture button, which will make more sense for the Pro series phones, because not only are they targeted more towards photographers and videographers, this will make it a lot more easier to capture content, which is what Apple has been pushing for the past couple of years with the Pro series phones. And the improved cameras and the improved video stabilization and video features means that that might actually become a possibility. Now, with all three cameras upgraded, another thing that we might finally see is 8K video, because one of the cameras was not upgraded and Apple would have not given 8K video unless they could have given it across the camera sensors, which means that now that we have a 48 megapixel camera in the ultra wide, in the standard, as well as the zoom camera, we might actually see a full-fledged 8K video format on the iPhone 16 Pro and the Pro Max. Another big change is, of course, going to be that the Pro will now be 6.3 inches, retaining a similar size or form factor to the iPhone 16. It'll be just slightly bigger in terms of its size. You'll get a slightly bigger screen as well at 6.3 inches. And the iPhone 16 Pro Max will be 6.9 inches. Nice. What will also trickle down to this phone, of course, the iPhone 16 Pro is the zoom lens that we saw in the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So a telephoto might actually be pushed into this, with possibly the Pro Max getting an upgrade. So instead of a 5x, we could see a 7x on the Pro Max, and the standard Pro will get a 5x. So that'll have to be seen what Apple actually does. They might make the phones identical in terms of their capability, or they might still keep a little bit of a difference. We're also hearing conversations about improved batteries with steel casings to help better dissipate heat and improve the battery charging situation. A lot of people struggled with iPhone 15 Pro series as far as heat and charging initially. So Apple might resolve that issue with improved batteries, with newer chemistry in the batteries, and also a stainless steel body of the battery to help dissipate that heat out of the battery. Again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. As far as weight is concerned, we are seeing that these phones are slightly less in terms of weight from the existing models, and that is something that we might actually see across the board. So this one is about 5 grams lower in terms of its weight, and these ones are actually 10 grams lower. Now, for the iPhone 15 Pro Max, we already saw that the 256 was the smallest size that you could pick up. We might see that in the Pro series this time around. So you will see that the Pro series will start off at 256 gigabyte, and we might actually see the same thing for the iPhone 16 as well, although it seems unlikely. 128 is still a lot of storage for a lot of people, so we might continue to get 128. Price-wise, we feel that the prices will not change at all. So $799 US for the iPhone 16, which will translate into Indian rupees in whatever conversation that you may have. So about 80,000 rupees will be the starting price of the iPhone 16. Now, let me know what your favorite features of the upcoming new iPhone 16 are. We're really excited about the AI features, especially because those are going to be interesting, and we'll make a special video on that. But more importantly, we're excited about the camera capture button, which may or may not be available in the non-Pro phones, but will definitely be available in the Pro phones, and of course the improved size of the display, and possibly display and camera improvements in the non-Pro phones. Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Smash like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.